Good day, Bashar.
And good day to you.
Thank you very much for making yourself available in this way. I appreciate the opportunity to co-create with you.
It is again our passion and our pleasure to do so.
Thank you. I appreciate April and Emmy and Darryl and everybody that puts all this together. So I just wanted to share my appreciation.
We thank you and our deep appreciation to you as well for the co-creation of the interaction. Please proceed.
Thank you. The first topic I'd like to talk about today is crystals.
Yes.
You had mentioned before that you actually sculpt with crystals. And,
well, not the crystals that you understand. It's a kind of crystalline nanotechnological substance.
So it's like liquid crystal?
Similar to that idea, but different again. It is a substance that exists on a deep subatomic nanotechnological level that can take many forms according to how it is manipulated by the energy of the sculptor.
And is that also how you make the dashboards for your ships, which you also said were crystal?
It is the entire ship that is made that way.
Oh, cool.
Not just the dashboard.
And how did the Atlanteans use crystals?
They used crystals by fine-tuning them to create different effects, both for transmission of light, transmission of auditory frequencies. They understood the idea of the vibrations that are inherent in certain crystals and how to carve them so that they would be tuned to certain frequencies and allow for long-distance transmission of information and also for the production of light.
And that was a function of the way that they were shaped in carving?
Partly, yes.
Wow.
And the purity with which they were created, or mined, if you wish.
I see. And we seem to be having a surge in interaction with crystals now. Are they helping us in the Age of Awakening?
Well, again, remember that everything is a permission slip, yes?
Yes.
But they do have an inherent reflection of being a very pure form of organized information. In other words, they are recording devices. And so those that are sensitive to the vibrational frequencies of certain crystals that are arranged in certain patterns will be capable of extracting the information that has been recorded into them and also capable of imbuing them, infusing them with information in terms of their energy matrix as well. So yes, it can be of great assistance at this time as a permission slip to allow a sensitive individual to heighten their sensitivity and expand their senses to access information from existence itself.
The next topic I'd like to move to is, you told us before about some animals on your planet. I think you called them Zebes. And
Aziza. Aziza.
Aziza?
Aziza.
Aziza.
Are you referring to the idea of the zebra-striped whale-like creature?
No, you had talked about them living in forests, that they were most closely related to what we would think of as cats.
As cats, yes. All right. Something similar to that idea.
So I'm just curious about more about the animals that are on your planet and how you interact with them.
Well, we interact with them just fine, thank you. We trust the synchronicity of when an interaction occurs. We don't have to seek it out, it just naturally happens. And the symbol that they represent for us becomes very apparent when and if such encounters will naturally, synchronistically occur.
Could you describe one of those?
Encounters?
Yes.
Someone may be walking along through one of the forest areas on our planet and may encounter a particular animal, if you wish, the cat-like animal that we do call a zia. And the idea is that then, knowing that that animal has a certain symbology in our collective consciousness, it would be like suddenly interacting with a portion of the collective consciousness that the animal is reflecting to us like a mirror, so that we will understand that the synchronicity of having that encounter will put us in touch with the vibration on a higher level of a portion of the collection of our entire civilization. And the purpose for that happening at that particular moment will simply reveal itself and make itself obvious as to enhance our own understanding of ourselves and give us a chance to experience a higher perspective of ourselves as it relates to the collective consciousness of our entire reality.
So they're symbols of alignment? Is that what you're saying?
All things are symbols of alignment, but the animals are, in a sense, symbols of alignment to certain very specific archetypal representations of our collective consciousness, in much the same way that yours are too. In other words, many people on your planet look at the idea, let's say, of your dog as being symbolically representative of the concept of companionship and service. You follow me?
Yes.
Therefore, when you encounter the idea of a dog through synchronicity, you are dealing with those archetypal levels of the idea of connection, relationship, companionship, and service to society.
I see.
And therefore, depending upon what the animal represents as part of the collective consciousness, as its archetypal representation, that's what you would be dealing with as an energy at the moment of that encounter. Now, that can simply unfold in a variety of specific ways, but that's the generalized idea.
Sure. Sure, I understand. Thank you.
All right.
I've been very engrossed and spent a lot of time with the Atlantis, the Orion, and then the Orinoco transmissions that you gave us at the end of last year.
Yes.
You were talking about it's the time to remember with Atlantis, and that we are the ones who are resurrecting a similar lifestyle to what they enjoyed in Atlantis. And I was very excited to hear that you suggested that these stories be kept alive, or that these pieces of information be kept alive in story. And so I have been very excited and writing a story about who we were in Atlantis and who we are now and how all those things fit together.
All right. How exciting.
It's the most fun I've ever had writing the book.
Yeah.
The characters seem to have a life of their own, and that I just discover rather than create. It's really a fun experience.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Is there anything that you would like to share with me in terms of if there's something particular that would be the most powerful to get into the book? Mostly I'm using it as the opportunity to share the message of who we were in the past and who we are and where we're going in the future as, those who are here to resurrect.
All right. Well, we will leave that mostly up to you. But again, you will find that in the so-called explanation of how you can meditate on the parallel reality of the United States of Atlantis, there may be information in there for you that will help expand your understanding of your connection and expression of that idea and that concept.
I see. Very nice. And then I was curious about the Peruvian, the ancient Peruvian stone buildings. Are those built from the people that left the Atlantis area after it was destroyed?
Yes. This is why most people on your planet, while they have this idea that Atlantean architecture back then looked more Grecian, that is not the case. It actually looked more Aztecan, because Aztec and Incan architecture are remnants of Atlantean architecture.
And so are most of the Aborigines that are remaining on the planet today, are they descendants of the people that departed from Atlantis before it was destroyed?
Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Some come also from the earlier civilization that you typically call Lemuria as well, and other civilizations that have been on your planet that you are simply no longer aware of because they have faded into your history.
I see. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. And if there's anything else that you think would be helpful for me to know about while I'm writing, both in the past idea of us.
Your higher mind will inform you of it. And again, you can take advantage of what we will explain in the upcoming description of how you can meditate on different parallel realities.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bashar. I appreciate you.
And you as well. Our unconditional love to you. Good day.
Thank you. Good day.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you so much. It's always such an honor.
And it is for us, again, a passion and a pleasure.
I have a couple of safety and personal growth related questions that I would like to ask you. The first is, I work on ships. I don't have a home base or a car or anything like that.
Yes.
And that was great. But now that that is no longer happening, when I was traveling home a few weeks ago, I began to feel fear about my new life and about the trajectory of that.
All right. And what is it you are afraid of?
I was afraid of, as I was transitioning, of running out of money and resources while the world was on hold, and I wasn't sure what to do.
Well, first and foremost, have you expanded your definition of support and abundance to something beyond the concept of money? Because that is one of the symbols that exists on your planet, but it's not the only expression of abundance.
Yes, I have listened to your definitions, but I suppose I don't trust that yet within myself enough.
All right. Then that simply means you don't understand how reality works.
Okay.
So a deeper understanding, taking time to have a deeper understanding of what the mechanism is that's already creating your reality experience will give you a little bit more of a certainty of how you can allow yourself to more consciously direct it in the way that allows you to know you are supported. Because remember, it's not possible to not be supported, but you will be supported in what you believe is possible for you to be supported in, including the fear of not being supported. So if you hold on to a belief system that says you might not be supported, you will be supported in that belief. Do you see the irony and the paradox there?
I do.
So the idea is to recognize how things work is that it's not possible to not be supported, but you get to decide what you're supported in. And if you decide that it's more real for you to feel that you're not being supported, that's what you get supported in. So it's up to you to decide whether or not you prefer to be supported that way or some other way, because the issue isn't about the idea that you're not supported. The only issue is, how do you want to experience the support, positively or negatively? You get to make that decision, because the mechanism doesn't have a mind of its own, and it won't contradict you when you decide you prefer to be supported in a particular, more positive way.
So I suppose then moving forward, just continuing to follow my highest excitement will get the momentum going. And
well, don't leave out the rest of the formula, because this is what many of your people do. They always latch on to, oh yes, I'm following my passion, and they conveniently forget the rest of the formula. Do you know the whole formula, all 4 parts?
I believe so. Well,
can you repeat it?
The next part is following your highest excitement with no expectations on the outcome.
You actually skipped from 1 to 3.
You might have to remind me of 2 and 4.
Part 1 is to allow yourself, yes, to act on your passion as often as you possibly can, to the best you can, until you can act no further on it. That's number 2. Number 3 is no assumption, no insistence on what the outcome should be. Number 4 is remain in a positive state no matter what the outcome is, so that you can receive the benefit from it no matter how it looks. You have to have the entire formula there, and you have to act on it precisely in order to experience that it's actually working to your advantage. You follow?
You do.
Does that help?
It does. And I suppose just with everything that's going on now, that really it really doesn't matter in a sense, correct?
Exactly. It's how you use it that matters, not what it is that's happening. Because everything that's happening can serve double duty, positive, negative. So it's how you relate to it, how you use it, how you respond to it that matters. That's what makes the difference in your life experience. not what it is. What it is a neutral prop. Something is happening. How do you respond to it? That determines everything about your experience of that particular thing or circumstance or situation.
That's very good. Thank you.
This is how reality works. So that's what we were saying, is you simply have to develop a clearer understanding of how the mechanism actually functions. And when you really have a clear understanding of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G of the mechanism, then all these things answer themselves because you know how the machine works. And you have the instruction manual, and all you have to do is follow the instructions. And if you do that, the machine will work as advertised to your advantage. Simple as that. It's no more complicated than that. You just have to understand that this is how reality is created by you.
Thank you. I think just with current times, my brain decided that it would forget, with the pandemic or something happening, that somehow the mechanism would change, but it doesn't.
The mechanism never changes. The only thing that changes is your definition and perspective and experience of it. The structure of existence never changes.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
It is only your experience of it, your perspective of it that changes, and that's what expands creation. Creation doesn't expand in terms of its structure. Its structure is what it is. But you can have an infinite variety of experiences and relationships and definitions of that structure. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help?
It does. I would like to ask one additional question.
Yes.
This has to do with traveling, and now that we've talked a bit on how reality works,
yes,
it'd be interesting. So I like to travel, and I like to travel on my own, and I like areas that are remote and wild and beautiful. And normally that's okay, but I've run into some challenges that I was wanting to ask you about.
Such as?
The past few months, I was noticing that I would get interactions with people that I didn't prefer. I don't want to say negative just because of what we've just talked about, but I would have an extremely profound, it seemed to always follow this pattern, no matter the country, no matter where I went. So I know it's my projection, but I would have a profoundly positive connection with the planet, just awe-inspiring, so incredible. And then it would be almost directly followed by something that I didn't prefer that felt very aggressive, either with human, animal, or something like that. And it kept happening. And I was just wanting to ask you.
So what are you trying to teach yourself in terms of how you respond to those things?
That it should just be neutral, really, and that I can take something positive away from it. But at the same time, I felt fear traveling alone and not quite sure how to respond.
Then maybe you need to do a little bit more traveling within first.
Okay.
And structure yourself in a way that you understand more clearly that you have an indestructible core, and that no matter where you wind up or what you experience there, it is all something that can teach you in a way that adds to your understanding of yourself if you use it that way. So there is something there you're attempting to tell yourself about how it is you respond to these things and what it is these things do to your own sense of self-esteem or self-worth.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay. So go within a bit to think about it. Okay.
This is one of the things that this time is for. When you have sequestered and isolated yourselves, it's like going into a monastic experience where you get to do a little bit more inner exploration so you can come out the other side more knowledgeable about who you truly prefer to be and how you truly prefer to relate to the things that go on in the world, even if you can neutrally observe that you don't necessarily prefer all of them. It's about learning where you actually live as opposed to what it is you are observing. Because sometimes they are there and drawn into your life to give you an opportunity to see if you've actually changed or if you're just going to react to them in the same old fear-based way. Because remember, the measure of change has nothing to do with whether the outer world changes. The measure of change is whether or not you respond differently, even if things still look the same.
But isn't it kind of an interesting thought that if you're responding differently, you're kind of in a different vibrational state? So maybe those same things that you prefer wouldn't even happen to begin with.
It might not, but the point is you wouldn't care.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter what happens if you're in charge of your particular vibrational state. Who cares what's happening around you? You haven't gotten to the point yet where you actually don't care.
No, I have not gotten to that point. It will be nice to get to that point.
Well, you can.
Okay.
When you understand again how this works, you will see that you're simply giving yourself an opportunity to recognize what true change is all about, and it has nothing at all to do with the reflection.
Okay.
The reflection can sometimes be a guide to what's going on, and the reflection can and often will change to match the vibration. But if you need it to change, you're missing the point.
Oh, that's good. That makes sense.
That's like saying, I'm looking in a mirror and I'm seeing a frown, but I need the reflection to change before I do. It never will. You have to decide to smile. And yes, then the reflection may have no choice but to smile back. But at that point, you don't really care to look at the reflection anymore because you're smiling anyway, no matter what the reflection looks like. Because it's not about the reflection. It's about you having made a decision and made a choice to be who you prefer to be, regardless of what you saw in the mirror to begin with.
That makes sense.
I know, that's why I said it. Does this help you?
It does. Thank you so much, Bashar.
Then we thank you. Good day.
Thank you.